Hey, I'm Andy Aledort, and in this edition of In Deep, I'm going to talk about one of my favorite subjects, two-string sequences. You might think, why is that your favorite subject, or one of them? Because I find that oftentimes when you're soloing, you sort of focus on two strings at a time, and you may move off those two strings really quickly in some cases, in other cases stay there. But the way two strings relate to each other and the notes that are available wherever you happen to be on the board, I mean, that's a huge part of playing. So it's a cool thing to make a study of it in that you purposely, consciously stay on a pair of strings, a pair of adjacent strings, and see what you could find. It helps you to break out of habitual playing because you just go to the licks. You know, your fingers are making the decisions for you. You don't want to do that. So if you're thinking about staying on a pair of strings, it forces you to be more melodic and creative while, affixing that little formula, that little template for yourself to stay within. So let me show you a few examples of how to do that. We'll start in the key of E on the top two strings, played in a blues style, connecting this position of the E blues scale to this one. Now the G string is in there here, but I'm going to leave it out. I'm just going to go from the high E and B from this position to this position. So here's a lick that does that. So what's kind of neat about that is I played that lick specifically because I was thinking about that I have to stay on the B string. All right, so that lick came from the idea of having to stay in that position. So this time, let's connect this position to this one. And we could play something like this. Notice I snuck the G string in there just for a second. So of course, you could do this a million different ways, but I'm purposely trying to stay on primarily the top two strings as I move around. Now let's combine this position to this one. You could play something like this. So by forcing myself to stay in these positions, I have to find a way to resolve that lick. So you get creative. Makes you make different decisions. One more lick staying on these top two strings. So that time I started here and went to there. So I kept this minor third intervallic distance between the two notes, but instead of using the minor third of G, I'm using a major third. And then there's the minor third, so it crosses between the two.